Colin Powell said, "A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work," I unquote. Honorable judges, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Kusumlata Sharma from Yangchunfu Higher Secondary School, Thimphu, Bhutan. Similar to what Powell said, I practice the same to be what I am today. My dream is my reality too, that is to touch the hearts of my students. This is my 18th year of my service, and this is the first time I'm traveling out of my country, thanks to tGELF. And indeed, facing this big conference in this big hall is another big surprise for me. I never thought I would have ever made it. I thank my father for what I am today. He opened a chapter of my life and left the rest for me to complete. I would not have been here if he hadn't taught me the light of a teacher. But the journey of my life wasn't effortless. I went to school without a proper pair of shoes. Forget about the school bag. I even didn't have a lunch bag. But at the end of the day, these hardships are the most significant moments that made me stronger each day to face the harsh realities of life. Today, I teach the same thing to my students because these hardships store the values of life and help them to find a leader in themselves. I teach them not to look back, but to live the present. I tell them to get up each time they fall and never to give up in life, because the moment we think to give up, it is indeed a sign of success. I dream to teach my hardships as their success. I feel my dream has somewhere realized when I receive calls from my students during the Mother's Day, Teacher's Day, and the Friendship Day. Today, I'm proud to announce that most of my students are successful in their own little ways. Their success is my dream. My dream is to further strengthen the weakness of my students and teach them the values and ethics of humanity, which I've learned from my late father. From 1995 till 2000, I served in the remote village of Eastern Bhutan. Many challenges surrounded me, and there was no one to guide. I failed many times, but broke through with perseverance, diligence, and humility. One episode I remember is when I slogged in with my students for 3 days to adopt a sewage near the school in Tashikan. That was 15 years ago, and I still continue to do so. Bhutan is a young democracy, and she needs to have a good minds and creative citizens to become future leaders and take the country forward. It will not be possible if you don't strive to instill the values of ethical leaders and a sustainable future by advocating different learning activities through creative pedagogy. Here are a few initiatives that my students and I have taken to make my school litter-free zone. Students here do not tolerate litters. They pick up whatever they see because we do and I do. Next, to advocate the waste management by embracing the concept of 4 Rs, that is reuse, refuse, recycle, and reduce. Here, we collect shoes, mend them, and then we distribute to the needy ones. By doing this, I'm teaching my students something good that they can do. It doesn't matter whether the things are bad. We also collect some soft toys and give it to the pediatric ward in the remote hospitals. Recently, we presented to the Eastern Bhutan Hospital Pediatric Yard, and the smiles on the children's faces are the accomplishment of my dream. These gestures will not only generate harsh leadership quality in my students, but also teach the values of sharing and loving. At my school, tGELF has further opened our eyes in the world of leadership, which is yet another avenue for the students to build their career and life skill. Therefore, I genuinely dream to spread the good practices of tGELF program across the entire school through a professional development to the other school teachers, so that the richness of tGELF may be felt by all the Bhutanese citizens. In Bhutan, the quality of education is one of the most important components of gross national happiness. And one of the ways to realize this dream is by integrating the essence of tGELF in Bhutanese education setting. As a teacher and a tGELF coordinator, I wish to build a strong foundation of my initiatives in my school and beyond the community. I vow to carry the seed of tGELF and sow it wherever I am to make a difference in the lives of my students. And at the same time, keep tGELF alive so that the future generation can enjoy its success. Once Harriet stated, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." Similarly, I have all the strength to touch the hearts of my students. They love me, and I have a lot of efforts on them. I'm not rich with degrees or certificates, but I'm rich at heart because I'm satisfied with what I have done today in education setting in Bhutan. And the chapter of my life will complete only on the last day of my teaching career. Then I would proudly say, I have accomplished my dream. This is my dream. Thank you, one and all.
Good evening, everyone. I really didn't think I would stay all day and experience this wonderful event. It's an honor, and thank you for giving me all this time to hear me out. Usually we don't get people to listen. Thank you so much for being here, for being so participative and encouraging towards all the participants who've made it till here. All the 11 of us have been sitting all together since morning thinking about how we're going to go through this. So thumbs up for all those who shared their dreams earlier on in the evening. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the child, their world. Who is the child? We all have a child within us. Somebody human, unresolved. We all carry our past with us, the way we were in school, like Ms. Gauri said, a teacher who touched us, touched our heart, somebody who made an influence in our lives. I believe that classrooms cannot be restricted to just fancy furniture, laptops, technology coming into our classroom, with extensive curriculum. One way or the other, it's the human that receives it all. And we cannot forget that human. And that's really important for us to understand. What is my dream? What do I want to do? What do I do if I win this award? I thought hard about it. You can ask the judges who judged me. I wasn't clear. I probably still am not. But I kind of worked out a plan now that I have such a huge responsibility to take forward. As a dream, as a vision, I would like to see myself as a motivational force to create communities who share similar vision, similar values, similar ideas as I do. So what is my value? What I believe in is an empathetic, unbiased understanding of all humans. Big words, think about it. Empathetic, unbiased understanding of all human beings. What are my ideas? Many. They change every day. But starting with BIS, where I live my dream every single day. An effective system, an effective institution, which provides the teacher, a counselor like me, who could just otherwise be visiting a school once in a week to talk to kids to fix them. A school that provides me a space, a playroom that kids love to come to, different classrooms. I meet children every day, different classes from 1st to 10th standard. I go and interact with them every day. Starting with BIS, I need to reach out. Reach out to other communities, other schools, universities, and platforms like tGELF and beyond to spread the spirit and to create an unbiased space for dialogue. And I think dialogue is extremely essential because from an unbiased space for dialogue originates great ideas. That's where visions originate from. We'll come to the action. But where do we think together? Where do we sit and discuss? Right here. We didn't come here to have lunch or dinner. We came in here to discuss, to share our ideas, and to see who belongs to this idea, who's ready to start a community with me. Where do I find people who are like me? So we need more platforms like this, and reach out and spread out what we think, what we believe in, and live by it. Also, my goal, my vision, is to be a part of policy-making processes so that the humanness in education stays. Not the business, not about how to get more admissions into school, how to get teachers to do different teaching styles and curriculum. The humanness in education needs to stay. How do I create that? I need to work with teachers. Every day my challenge is to work with teachers who are pressed with time, corrections, many of us have talked about this today evening, corrections, assessments, cutoffs in university. We need to fight that and move beyond that so that the sensitive teacher can empathize with the child who says, I don't know why I'm doing this. We don't have the space for an empathetic teacher in our system. And we need to work towards changing that. And how I'm going to do it, I'm going to reach beyond, stand confidently in front of a big gathering like you. Otherwise, I would have chosen to stay quiet. But right here, I'm here because I want to make a difference, and I want you all to help me. And I want you all to believe in something, and I want you all to believe in making that change. So we need collaborative space, and let's start from here. I think that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Everyone, good evening. Tedium to carpe diem. T.S. Eliot once said, I'm an English teacher, by the way. So, T.S. Eliot once says, measuring your life out in coffee spoons. That's what I'm doing right now. And I'm living in a sort of tedium. However, this moment on this stage is carpe diem moment for me. Carpe diem means seize the day. I'm seizing the stage. My carpe diem moment comes out of my tedium. Since I'm an English teacher, I love to read, and I have a story for you. So, a pretty disturbing image, but let's see how we came to this image. There's a parrot in a faraway land, and the parrot loves to sing, la, 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 la. However, the king and the king's nephew of that land did not like the parrot singing. Therefore, they said, a song brings no profit, teach its scriptures. To teach its scriptures came the pundits, and the pundits decided the carrot had to be put, sorry, not the carrot, the parrot. The parrot had to be put in a golden cage. And inside the golden cage were mountains of manuscripts. And the parrot was being fed little bits of it. And, oops, sorry, I'm nervous. And to maintain that cage, you needed a lot of people to polish the cage, to see that the cage looked nice when people came to see it. In the middle of it all, the parrot was a little forgotten, but that's okay. The cage is more brilliant. The cage has to be there, right? Nice and golden and shiny. However, one day when the king came back, he noticed that the parrot was still fluttering its wings, and the king said, "Oh me God, the parrot wants to fly out of the cage. Can't allow that. The parrot has to stay in the cage, eat those little bits of manuscripts, and do what I say." So he called the blacksmith, had a golden chain to tie the parrot's legs up, and then he says, clip the parrot's wings. 3 months down the line, nobody really noticed when it happened, how it happened. Moot point is the parrot died. It died. It was brought on a golden plate to the king. The king poked it with a little finger and said, all I hear is the dry rustling of leaves. I think I am stuffing my students with little bits of manuscripts. It's just a wonder one of them hasn't collapsed. But that day is not far. However, out of this tedium, this is where I am measuring out my life in coffee spoons, has come my dream. I call my dream flip-flops and haphazard sneakers. Who are the flip-flops? You guys. That's my school. Those are my kids. Do you see the color-coordinated flip-flops? How lovely they look, harmonious holes. And then I have my haphazard sneakers. Have I ever really worked with them? Yes, when I was doing my B.Ed training. A couple of times in Delhi government schools. Not much. Professor Godelli said today in the morning that we have a very insular system. Ours is a very insular system of education. Tell me something. Any of you from here, you were in basil and cinnamon and saffron. Did you go to the road? Did you walk across to the road? Did you take your program there? I have one hand. Thank you. Thank you for being so idealistic. I love it. My program will be a success. My action plan will be there. So now, my tedium comes out of CCE. Everybody familiar with CCE? Give me a big yes if you are. Yes. Thank you. So this formula for all of those who don't know, it's a mind-boggling formula. However, FA1, FA2, SA1 is term 1, lots of quizzes, lots of exams. Term 2, the same thing. I don't think Mr. Kapil Sibal, when he started the CCE system, actually meant it to make you like parrots who's going to turn on their heads one day. However, our schools is following it only in the letter, not in the spirit. Am I brave? Maybe not. Am I foolhardy? Extremely. So I have an action plan, and that's my dream. Term 1, illusion of wisdom. Those are my question marks. Sorry, I've jumped. Let's do it this way. All of you here from the CBSE system in class 12 did a general studies project, right? And all of you remember it to the T. Right, Chaitanya? You do? Okay, he does. He does. However, my belief is most of them don't. I have a plan. The general studies project for the class 12 kids, let them take a few months out of their busy academic lives. Let's say there are a couple of kids from your school staying in Moti Bagh. Do a little survey of Moti Bagh. Find out which public schools are there, which government schools are there. Match them. Student strength. Send off your stuff to the Directorate of Education. Let the Director of Education work on it. Let them match the two schools. I'm talking about going across the road, but not in an insular way, in an inclusive way. And then, get the Hollywood reference please, I want to create a league of extraordinary students. It's very difficult for me to flip it. I have come from the old traditional system, but I'm saying flip it. How? Cricket is a good game, especially when the batsmen are running across. Teamwork, guys, we need that between the flip-flops and the haphazard sneakers. So, I say term 1. Till September, let's have FA. Forget about essay. It serves no purpose. Rote has its value. Trust me, you need to know certain details at certain points of time. However, in term 2, I say, let's research. You guys on my left get together with the profile school on the right. Choose a topic of research. No syllabus. None at all. Let not the clock go tick-tock. Let not the death knell of the syllabus ring. And then you have the options. How do you work? You can work as a double delegation. All MUNers here. It's a good concept, you know. If you do a double delegation, you are not there to win alone. You will take along the other person. If a double delegation doesn't work, let's do group work. If a group work doesn't work, let's work together as a class. 8 topics. 4 in each language. Are you capable? Yes. October to December, prepare on your projects. Presentations. In India, we don't have a theory of doing drafts. I'm saying do drafts. Do a draft in January. Do your final presentations in February. Is my presentation foolproof? No. If you guys sit down and ask me lots of questions, how's the transportation going to be arranged? How many times are they going to meet? What are they going to discuss on? What is going to be the role of the teacher? God knows. I really don't know standing up here. But remember, carpe diem, seize the day. And this is my big dream, and I'm presenting it to you. After all this is over, remember Mr. Kapil Sibal said, CCE and thrust it down our throats. Yes, this is my big dream. I'm asking you to follow it. However, I want you to follow it up with camps. Where do you hold these camps? Partner schools, public parks, community parks. Yesterday in the TV program, I heard the Rashtrapati Bhavan has 330 acres of land. I think Mr. Pranab Mukherjee would be more or less happy to give it up to the Directorate of Education to do some good work. What do you do in these parks? You talk about the fact whether this project can take off, whether it can be a success. Is it just a project full of holes? Is it silly? Is it nonsensical? Well, you know what? Apart from teaching English, I also teach drama. So, this is a scene from my favorite movie. And the teacher stood up on the table and said, things look very different from up here than down there. Are they silly? Maybe. Do they make any sense? Maybe. If you think you want to look at things differently, if you think your lives are not lives of quiet desperation, please stand up on your chairs right now and make a difference. That's my dream. Is it achievable? Maybe. But I'm standing on the chair. Is there anyone out there who will stand on the chair with me? Please. Thank you so much. I love you.
Especially thank all the school principals and the teachers who have made the effort to come all the way to Surajkund and join us on this wonderful, momentous occasion. And now we come to the moment. So, and I'd like to call on stage Kusum Lata Sharma from YHSS, Bhutan. But I would like to call on stage the other two finalists. So, Gunjan and Srilekha, please come and join us.